Hello, I am Juicebox, and today I will be giving you a full tutorial on Valkyrien Space War. This is a mod that came out not too long ago, and it adds many things that you can put on your Valkyrien Skies ships. Let's get started. First, we're gonna assemble our ship. Alrighty, first things first, this is your This is your control seat. This will obviously control the aircraft or spacecraft. This is your onboard computer. This is the brain of everything, and this is how you're going to adjust all your parameters and control guns and whatnot from here. These are vector thrusters. These give you basic flight and directional control. These ones are the small variant, and we have the normal size and the large. Your need for whatever size highly depends on the size of the ship you're trying to build. This is for any kind of small fighter craft. This could be for any sort of flagships or gunships. Oh, this would be your colony ship. These are normal thrusters. These add strength to whatever direction they're facing. This is all you need for a basic ship. In order to get it to fly, you need the P2P connector, and you connect everything. I mean, obviously. First click your brain, and then click everything else. I'll explain what these numbers mean later. Okay, we got our first ship. Now we can fly around like a spaceship. Or a drone. Either works. These are your monitors. Their angle can be adjusted by hitting the wrench on the side or the bottom. They can be used to operate the computer in many ways. You've got your full size, your large, and your small. Now, for the fun part, we get to add guns. First, you need an energy source because these guns need some form of energy to operate. Even the machine gun. Give it some ammo, and as we can see here, it is powered. Then we just connect it to the computer. And then we hop in. We have guns. These 30mm machine guns take 4 types of ammo. We've got armor piercing, high explosive armor piercing, and high explosive incendiary. I'll leave it up to you guys to explore what does what. I'm not gonna rob you of that fun. Next we have the energy turrets, which are significantly bigger. Next, we've got the LUV turrets, which are only slightly bigger and look cooler. Let's see how they pew pew. Pew pew pew. Let's see if I could do something cool. Yeah. So if you press R, you get these controls here. And I believe there's one to turn a voltage up. What does it mean? Now here's something really fun. Using these monitors, you can control these turrets. It seems that the fire rate goes down when you're in turret mode. To get into flight, you must sit into the seat and press C. Plus on your keyboard zooms in, while minus zooms out. Press enter and it levels itself out. Up and down on the keyboard adjusts the throttle. And shift gives you a boost. And you use your mouse for aiming. This mod also introduces my favorite thing, Servo Motors. You got your 2-axis, your 3-axis, and your Servo Almighty. Your 2-axis obviously has 2 different controls that you can customize. This part is a nightmare and I will not be showing you. You must experiment on your own what these do. Can't explain what X, Y, and Z does. I have to figure out every single time. I usually figure it out by trial and error. Just like this. See? Doesn't work. The Servo Almighty has a feature that is my favorite. It has a slide feature that works much like a piston. For example, you can simultaneously turn it and extend it at the same time. Although without a counteraction, it tends to kind of weird things out. Well, let's move on to the numbers, shall we? What we have here is the computer parameters, or algorithm, I guess. And what this does is kind of helps you build a smooth working and smooth flying machine. If I'm going to give you any advice, the only 2 numbers you really want to mess with here are these 2 bottom numbers. But you mainly want to focus on hover compensation. Okay, I went ahead and adjusted these numbers to kind of level this thing out. Let me explain what they do. The thruster step size controls how strongly the system adjusts per tick. If this is wobbling or overcorrecting, this needs to be lowered. Pro tip, if you keep the ship level while making these adjustments, they will be more precise. And we got direction step size. This affects how quickly the control system tilts or corrects the orientation. Max iteration is basically how many ticks or how many times it recalculates the adjustments. Tolerance, I'm not really sure what it does, but it's just like how much it's willing to tolerate error before making an adjustment. Force weight, kind of, it adjusts how aggressively the system goes a direction to fight gravity or drift. The higher you put this, the more jittery it can become. The lower it is, it's softer. Basically like how it influences the thrusters. Torque weight kind of fixes rotation. Scale factor, that's how hard the thrusters respond. Regularization is kind of the smoothness. And hover compensation obviously means the level of power it needs to put downward in order to stay upward. Alrighty, time to design and build a ship. Personally, I'm gonna make a space fighter. Okie dokie, we are finished. What a beaut. So this is basically just to showcase the potential of what you can make with something like this, but let me just show you around real quick. Here's the control seat. This is what I use to control the servos. Alright, time to fly it. Oh. Well, there she is in all her glory. This was really fun to build, and I hope you guys can make something really cool with what I taught you today. If you learned anything today, just be sure to like and subscribe, as well as if you have any questions for me. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.